This is your captain. We are cleared for takeoff today. Can y'all hear me? Are you getting some good audio today? We had a couple issues last time, so hopefully that's all cleared up. But, if everything's good, I'm going to start the show. So, welcome to Loud and Clear with Glenn Schick, where we talk about mastering, audio production, and the things that actually make records translate in the real world. I'm Glenn Schick, and I'm a mastering engineer of over 33 years, maybe. Greetings from Reykjavik. We had, hold on, itchy eye. We had quite a day yesterday. I don't know if y'all read about this, but we had, okay, there's some people here, good. We had something called a full solar eclipse, and even though it was cloudy and raining, it was bloody amazing. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced a full eclipse before, but this was my first time. I've done the partial eclipses, and those were just kind of like, okay, it's, it gets a little darker and, whatever. But yesterday, my friends and I sat in the rain and we watched nature turn the lights out. And it was pretty intense because when it started, it was really like somebody was pulling a dimmer switch down, bang, 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 bang. And then everything was pitch dark. And it was just quite the amazing experience. So that was really fun. And then the week before, you might have noticed we didn't have a show. That's because I was in New York City, and that is my hometown. And I got to partake in some things like some New York City food. And for those New Yorkers that recognize this, and everybody else will say, what's the big deal about this? This is a BEC. It's a bacon, egg, and cheese with a standard kind of Seinfeld New York coffee cup. And it's one of the most delicious things you can eat. And so I had that. I had my pizza. I had the bagels. I did Papaya King. We went to also, my old bandmates took me to this great New York restaurant. And it's one of those places where they sit you down and there's no menu. And the waiter comes up to you and goes, "What do you want? What do you want me to make you?" And it was great. The guy was just like, "I'm your menu. What do you want? You want me to make you a veal chop?" So I said, "Sure." And it was an amazing meal, great time with my old bandmates. And we went to go see Rush at Madison Square Garden. And that was quite amazing. I've got to say that, like, out of all the experiences I've had of recent and all the concerts I've had of recent, this one was special because my old band used to actually play a Rush medley way back when, 40 years ago. And to watch these guys go through 50 years of music in one night and not only play it well, but like Geddy Lee, the bass player, has actually gotten better. He's 73 years old and his bass playing is insane. So that was just a revelation in itself. What else is going on here? Got some good news too. So I think last time we met, a song I did from Pooh Shiesty had gone platinum called FDO. But even better, the album we did, which is called All Eyes on Scheist, went number one everywhere. So I've been blessed by a couple of number one records in just a couple month span here. And I just wanted to thank Ari Morris, who was on this show. Ari is a great mixing engineer, his assistant Logan, great people, great mixing engineer. And go check out that album if you haven't already. And so speaking of tonight's show or live stream, remember, this is not a tutorial. I'm not an academic. I am a mastering guy. I'm not a guy that's going to give you lectures. And this is a conversation. So I want you all to reach out, kind of really be part of this conversation. That's what this is. This is what I want this to be. I'm going to be looking at the comments both on Instagram and YouTube. So if you got something you want to say, something you want to talk about, if you have questions about what I'm talking about now, just go for it. I'm here. We're here to chat. So tonight's show, we're at Loud and Clear, episode number 17, and tonight's topic. Got to have some kind of topic to talk about. The most powerful plugin you're probably not using. So, is this clickbait? Let me take a sip of my tea. And I realized I got to keep my whistle wet because otherwise my throat will dry out and then I'll have a coughing fit. So if you hear me sipping tea every once in a while, that's just part of the deal. So, the most powerful plugin you're probably not using. So every week we see videos, and I make them too, about different limiters or the newest compressor or this new take on an EQ or a clipper. So today I'm going to show you a plugin that's probably improved my mastering and my mastering decisions more than any EQ or limiter or anything I've really ever bought. Plugin. Let that sink in for a second. And the funny thing is, this actually doesn't process audio. Anybody want to guess? Chat, anybody want to guess what I'm going to throw at you here? No? Come on, guys. You gotta give me a guess here. Nothing? Oh, you guys are too quiet today. All right. So let's talk about this plugin. So our ears have a really short memory. And so when you A-B something, and it's a quick A-B, you kind of usually forget it. Okay, somebody guessed an auto gainer or an A-B comparison plugin. So yes and no. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can get the notes up here for YouTube a little better. Yeah, I guess that'll work. Not exactly, but it can definitely do that. And some of what we're going to do it is going to be, some of what we're doing with it is A-Bing things, but it's not an A-B plugin. I have metric A-B, and there's another A-B I have somewhere in my plugin folder, but it is not that. So, and then the other thing, the plugin GUIs will influence you. And, sometimes if you're setting up something, so whether you have an A-B plugin or let's call up my Wavelab, because we're going to need that. But sometimes when you have an A-B plugin, you're not really putting your mastering chain with one thing in and out. Does that make sense? So maybe you've got 20 plugins that you've set up to that point, and now you just want to know, well, what's the best compressor? What's the best limiter? What's the best clipper that's going to sound right for that session? And sure, you could set up one track with everything on it and then dupe it over to another track and set everything up on it. But that's quite a pain in the ass to me. And it slows down my workflow. And then your computer's running everything, in double, not at the same time, but still it's more than you need to put in there. So what I'm going to suggest is this plugin. So let's bring this puppy up. All right. So we still have my audio, I hope. Everybody hearing good? All right, the plugin we're going to talk about today is from a company called Blue Cat. They are not a sponsor. They are not sponsoring this. They did not give me this plugin, but it is something I use quite a bit, and it's called Patchwork. Okay, anybody know this one? I've usually got like quite a few folks that when I mention this plugin, they're like, I think I've seen that, but I don't know what it does. So Patchwork, let's call it Patchwork. Let me bring this up and bring this over to the screen. So actually, let's take the other one first. I've got a couple instances of it on here. And there we go. And let's make it a little bigger for all you folks to see. Oh, actually, there is a GUI size thing. I can't remember which one it is now. Come on. Anyway, can you see this okay? I hope so. So what Patchwork, which is a plugin host. I'm going to take some tea. So by plugin host, I mean basically you put your plugins into this little environment and you can arrange them in any way you want. So what I have set up here is kind of my A/B setup for pretty much anything I want to A/B. And every session is going to have its specific, thing that does the best thing for that song, for that session. What can I say? It's the first example I'm going to show you, and I'm going to take some more tea. Okay, I'm going to try to keep that whistle wet. The first example I'm going to show you is ones with saturation in it. And I am still going to cough. Excuse me. I got to get a mute button. I got a new audio setup, so I haven't set up everything for it yet. I will get a mute button, promise. So the first example I have set up here is with saturation. So I'm going to play you a track. This is actually a group I work with. They're out of Atlanta, Georgia. They are a fantastic rock group called The Ladies of, featuring James Hall, and they've given me permission to play this. They are, this mix, by the way, is done by one of my favorite mixers on the planet, and just a nice human being. His name is Jeff Tomei, out of Georgia as well. And you might know his work from, he did the Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, and Jerry Cantrell, and a bunch of other like really kind of classic rock stuff that I think is exemplary. So I hope you enjoy this little bit of audio, and I'm going to tell you what we got going here. So I've loaded instances of, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instances of different saturators. And I've set this up for solo. So in other words, it'll only play one at a time. It will not play them all at the same time. And then I'm going to be able to switch through them. And then you can also set this up so you can have something either before your whole chain or after your whole chain. And you can also do this, well, we'll get into the other stuff later. And like I said, this is not a tutorial. This is to give you guys some ideas to make your workflow better, to pick better things, to realize sometimes, and you'll probably hear that tonight, that some things don't make such a difference, which is kind of the really the best medicine for people that buy a lot of plugins. And I'm not saying don't buy the right plugins. Just reading. Yes, this is a plugin I do blind tests with from, I think that's a YouTube comment. Yep. And the instances I have of all these different saturators that I picked for this first one, I've all taken a test tone, like a 1K test tone, and I've aligned the inputs and outputs of everything. So you're hearing at the same gain, the same levels, so you can actually make a decision. And what I'm going to do right now is play the track and just start switching between some of these things. This is not a contest or comparison. This is not to find the best saturator. This is to let you see how to use a tool to make better decisions. Got it? Okay, I don't want to hear at the end of this, this one sounded way better than the others. If it did, that's your opinion. Everybody's got one. So here we go. This is The Ladies of. Are y'all getting what I'm doing here? I'm going to go back to see the comments here so I can see stuff better. I like the comment from Binary that tea is the most powerful beverage you're probably not using enough on. Yeah, and these are just some of my saturation plugins. I didn't pick like all of them. This is the best of them. This is the, whatever I want to show you tonight. This is just kind of a sampling. I've got a ton of plugins like all of y'all. Yeah, let's hear a little more. Can you guys hear the differences in the track? Somebody give me some feedback. Is the track coming across okay too? Are y'all getting stuff here? Okay, I'm going to play a little more of the track here and we're going to switch a little more. Glowing. Nobody missing me. Somebody's saying that the oven plugin is 2 dB louder. I did line them up ahead of time, but maybe something moved. So we'll do our best in the meantime. But this is just, this is not a saturator comparison video. This is a how to choose video. So even if they're not 100% aligned, they're basically aligned here. And what I want to be able to do is for that song and this particular project, pick the right tool for the job. And I think people really forget about that kind of, farsightedness to say, I want to pick the best thing for the job. And sometimes you'll find out that, 3 things you have sound exactly the same. Maybe one of them sounds a little different. Maybe it's good for the project. Maybe it's not. So let's bring it up. I'm going to put this on that for now. And I'm going to bring up one with a compressor setup. And this one has less in there. And they're probably not, whoops, that's the same one. They're probably not aligned exactly on this one. But again, I'm just showing this as, a concept. This is conceptual. This is just so you can say, oh, okay, my workflow is going to get better because I can make critical decisions on the fly without having to break down everything, set up another track, A/B another track. Because, we could just go in there and add another track and, duplicate all the plugins that you had before, that would work. But it's not really the best way to work, in my opinion. Let's remove that again. And let's do the same thing with the compressors now. So you all with me? Are you all with me? This is your captain. We are at 30,000 fleet. Are you all with me? Okay, yeah. And the just mentioned that the differences are subtle. And, the plugin believers, the people that market this stuff would make you think that, thank you, Binary, would make you think that they're the most different things. You buy this plugin and it's going to change your life. And you just heard, 7 different plugins. And yeah, there are some subtle differences, but they're subtle differences. And let's do the same thing with a few compressors now.
When you think of all your clients and take a look at all your days, I need you more than a walk-in could. Your noon is running late.
That one is definitely louder. You like? I got miking set up on my mic. So professional.
Nobody creeping in the booth. Vanessa, hairdresser. You know I'm trying back to get up in your chair. Vanessa, hairdresser. You're the only one I'll ever want to cut my hair. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
All right, so you guys are hopefully getting the idea of what I'm trying to convey here. We've got some people saying that certain things sound better. And like I said, this is not some people listening through their TV. Okay, binary feedback. I got you. This is conceptual, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to have your critical monitoring going right now. Everything's good. We are cool. We are going conceptual here. This is something you do later on after you watch this. So let me show you a couple other things that you can do with this. So for instance, let's go back to our other one we had up before. Let's bring that other one back again. So if you also have like several different things, you can also make chains of things. So I can also put these and make a bunch of horizontal slots or vertical slots. So I think we have like 8 vertical slots right now, but these can go, right now there are 2 across here. We can go 3 across, 4 across, 5 across, up till I think 6 or 8. And we can make entire chains of things to go together to compare. So if you've got, say, a compressor and a limiter and a clipper combination that you want to listen to, a combo of these 2 the same with one different, first one different, the second 2 the same, whatever the case is, you now can A/B entire chains of plugins together. So this is not just an A/B, it's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And it's going to really give you much more flexibility in both your mixing and your mastering to pick the right tool. And as you can hear, a lot of times the tool is subtle. We'll go check this out one more time for the people just tuning in. These are different saturators.
Nobody creeping in the booth. Vanessa, hairdresser. You know I'm trying back to get up in your chair. Vanessa, hairdresser.
It's funny, on the second round, I actually hear way more differences than I did on the first round, and it's I don't know if it's I'm just concentrating more on it now, but again, you can kind of see what a powerful tool this is and what it can become. So, um, other than your regular A/B plugins, this is a lot more. It's a lot different. It's customizable to whatever your mind can kind of decide. And you can put things, in this pre or the post column. So you can have your regular plugins all set up, whatever you have before these plugins that you're A-Bing. And it's fantastic. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you tonight. Let's see. I'm going to throw up some comments here. Let's take this off the screen. Put me. No, I don't want to remove me. There I go. I'm back. I'm back, man. All right. How y'all doing? Thanks for hanging in for that demo. Did the audio all come through clear? Last time I had some new gear. I got this lovely Yamaha interface mixer, and everything just kind of went kaplooey last week. So apologies to those that tuned in. Thank you, Kevin. So yeah, it is. Let's throw some comments up here. Seems like a powerful tool for cross-DAW plugin chain flow. Yes, it is as well. That is another application that this is really good too. So if you have a whole set of plugins like your plugin chain that you like, you can save this and then load that into a different DAW that's not set up like your DAW, because you have that one plugin with all those presets and all your plugin chain set up. So it is really good for cross DAW workflow. So let's see what we got. Christy says, it annoys me a little when I compare plugins in my master and chain. Everything sounds great. Yeah, it's, it is what it is. This actually became one of my favorite tools and something I use every single day on every master. And like I said, it doesn't really do anything, but it's so powerful. Anybody on the Instagrammers? Somebody really liked the oven. I'm sure we had a guest mastering engineer a few weeks ago who was very vital to that development of that plugin, Maor Applebaum, and is excellent mastering engineer, and he works with the people at the oven. So that's kind of his baby. So let's see what we got from Instagram. Brian Poole says, I can see this plugin would be helpful. Does it ever crash your system? Brian, no, it has not crashed my system yet. It's been really reliable. The thing I like about the Blue Cat stuff I've worked with so far, and I've used a couple of their plugins, is they're updating all the time. I get regular updates. I don't have to pay for upgrades. They constantly upgrade stuff and improve things. And no, I've never really had stuff crash on me. What level do you have the wave before beginning to master? That depends. I can leave this comment up for a second while I answer it. So Atrocity, I basically bring down almost everything. Almost every mix is too loud for me. I want some headroom to do some processing, and I want to gain stage things the way I like to hear them. So I don't have an exact number. I don't normalize everything to a certain number. I kind of just bring it down to where I feel comfortable, and then I'll start gain staging back up depending on what I'm using. So hope that helps. This is a conversation, folks, so, you got to say something too. What's up, everybody? Do we have some questions here? Want to know how it's going to work for you? Anybody? Are you all just shy today? Let's see. Here's some questions. Glenn, do you do resampling? No, I generally do not. Don't really have a need for it. Hope that answers you, Tani. And Tani also says he's been following my work for a while. Thank you, Tani. Could you show a being example of a whole plugin chain, please? We can kind of just do it theoretically if you want here. Hold on, let's put this back. So if I was going to use like a whole plugin chain, let's just pretend that these are all different plugins, not anymore that they're all saturators. Say one was an EQ, one was a compressor, one was a clipper, whatever. So I'm going to try to make this, so that's 8 rows down. We're going to go more across. So right now it's 4 columns. Let's make it 6 columns across. So I could take, say, my compressor. Let's pretend that's a compressor. Let's pretend that EQ. Let's pretend that's whatever, a limiter. And what you can do with this is you can take and copy anything you want and paste it just the way you'd want to. And it's going to copy all of your presets, all of your settings, and then you'd be able to A/B those chains just like we were doing a second ago. So that's how you would do that. Does that answer your question? Let's see. Will it go back? Nope, it will not go back. Okay. Let's get out of here and somebody's asking me about already tested out the AL1 limiter. So as someone else mentioned, yes, I did an entire show about the AL1 limiter. So just look on the older streams. You'll see an entire thing dedicated to it. All right, we got some more questions here. In WaveLab, I see you have the plugins on the master out inserts. Would it still work on other plugin inserts? Yes, it will work anywhere you can put a VST plugin in. All right, we've got one from Christy. This is my ASMR voice. Has there ever been a time when you've mastered a song without using a limiter? I generally always have a limiter just in case, just to catch some overs or spikes or transients that might slip through. So generally not, although I barely use limiting. Honestly, maybe 1 or 2 dB max of any limiter. Hello from Sweden, Mr. Star Pop. Hello from Iceland. I'm your neighbor. Glenn, do I have a favorite clipper? I have several clippers I really like. I really like it's Dangerous Music. They make one that goes through with Acoustica audio, and I love Dangerous stuff. When I had an analog studio, it was filled with Dangerous Music stuff because even before that, I went back and had a bunch of gear made by the same guys that built Sterling Sound, which is a gentleman named Chris Muth. And so he's the designer for the Dangerous stuff. And Marek from Dangerous was nice enough to send me a NFR for their clipper, which I think is fabulous. And I think I'm going to have him on the show to talk about it. So it's a really unique, good can of good stuff. But there's a lot of ones I like. Honestly, it's not the only clipper I use, but it's a good one. Oh, Schwab Digital, also fantastic clipper. Gold clip, orange clip. Great clippers. So those are a couple I would just off the top of my head recommend. Back to my ASMR voice. All right. How would you recommend someone new get into mastering? So don't do what I did, which was not do great work for a bunch of years till you found out that you needed to fix a bunch of things. So I can't listen to any of my old work now and not cringe a little because I've gotten so much better than I was 20 or 30 years ago. But I guess that's part of growing. But I would just, try to hang with people that have some experience, pick their brain, watch more episodes of Loud and Clear. There's a couple other guys that know some stuff about mastering on YouTube. I'm not going to say any specifics, but, use your judgment. Not everything you see on YouTube is true. Here we go. Atrocity was saying, I was thinking about getting that dangerous plugin. Okay, well, that's good. It's a good one. I can't not say any good stuff about it, or not say enough good stuff. Let's see, from Instagram, let's go back for a little bit. Atrocity is asking, do I still use Odyssey headphones for mastering? I still do. Looking through the Instagram comments. Can you explain dither for those who don't know? Okay, it's pretty simple. Digital audio, PCM digital audio has both sample rate and bit rates. When you have something in higher rate, which you normally hear like, oh, this audio is in 16-bit or 24-bit or 32-bit float, when you bring it down to a smaller package, dither technically is supposed to make that compromise into a smaller package better sounding by injecting a high frequency past your hearing to actually make the audio better. How that works specifically, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but it's basically the way to bring higher resolution stuff down to a lower resolution properly. Honestly, I've heard stuff where people forgot to use dither, where it was just basically clipped. I couldn't really hear much difference sometimes. And I can hear the difference between different dithers. There are better and not as good ones. So I'd highly suggest if you do use dither, try a few different dithers. They're not all the same. Let's see, what else we got? I'm doing the ASMR today. Do I prefer soft clipping over limiting to get the volume that satisfies you? Well, the volume that satisfies me, I would say occasionally I use soft clipping, yes. It's all dependent on the project and how the transients are responding. If it's a really flat sounding project, soft clipping might not be the best thing, but it's very dependent on the track and on the project. So hope that answers you. Let's go back to YouTube. Let's see what we got here. Okay, from YouTube, from Daniel. Hey, Glenn. Hi, Daniel. What do you usually do to deal with harshness, either one that was in track already before, or even better, the one that mastering caused by processing? Okay, that's a multi-layer question, Daniel, so I'll try to address this. Yes, certain processes can bring harshness. You have to take that kind of in consideration. So I might use something less destructive like EQ. Well, that can be destructive too, but I might use something a little gentler like an EQ to kind of bring some warmth to a track first. I may use other tools like dynamic compression or there's a great high frequency limiter like Schwab Digital makes Hi-Fal. That's also great. Tokyo Dawn Labs has a great high frequency limiter on their GE6, I think it's called. So there's a bunch of tools you can use to kind of rewarm things. I'm not usually that big of a fan of like tape emulations and things like that. I've heard a couple that weren't bad. And you heard some of the saturation can also warm things up. So that's how I do it. This is how we do it. Speaking of this is how we do it, shout out to Montel Jordan. He's been a client of mine for like 20 years and one of the nicest people on the planet. So shout out Montel. So you don't use TP. You're saying I don't use toilet paper? How much toilet paper is normal? Plus 1 dB? Plus 4 dB? Or you don't care at all? No, Sarpo, I don't care about my toilet paper at all. Okay, so he's asking about True Peak, not toilet paper, I assume. And I don't use True Peak, so using it is normal. But I'll tell you, like every project again, and I know you're sick of hearing this, but every project is going to be different. So transients are going to pop through differently, and you're going to have to set your levels differently every time. So, but in general, I don't really care that much. I care, but I don't care about True Peak. Let's see. Let's go back to Instagrams. Thank you, Mayar. You said I'm the best engineer. Oh, that was my friend from Iran. Nice. I'm really, I gotta say, I'm super touched. There's a bunch of people who have reached out to me in the last, I don't know, month or two, saying that they've been inspired to start mastering or mixing with headphones or just that they feel like they can do it now because of stuff I've said. And I got to tell you, that has been the biggest boost to my heart and to my sense of wanting to do this show, because I'm here to kind of, help from my experience. So I really appreciate those comments, and I thank you all for them. And we continue. Let's see. All right, we got, what are your thoughts on mastering in, I guess PT is Pro Tools. First we had TP, now we're PT. Mastering engineer, my way says a true AMA, you wouldn't do it. So I only know one, what I'd call professional engineer that used Pro Tools, but he was also a mixer. So he had Pro Tools and he was kind of an expert in Pro Tools. T again. But, and here is the but. The but is Pro Tools is not really a mastering environment. And let me go back to full screen here. Well, actually, while we're here with WaveLab, WaveLab is a mastering environment. And you can see on here, we have some features like metadata and markers and a whole bunch of other things that particularly pertain to mastering, which you don't really have as part of standard Pro Tools. And I know you can set them up in Pro Tools to do similar things, and you can do that in Reaper as well, but they're not really environments that a mastering engineer would probably enjoy working in. So I would say Pro Tools, not good for mastering. Let's see. What do we got here? Here's a good question. Christy, you always have such good questions. Thanks for sending these in here. How do you know when you've done enough on a master? What am I listening for? So this is where you go from technical to emotional. And not that I get emotional at every master, but I try to tune out my analytical side, your left brain, I think, and use, or maybe it's the other way around, it's right brain. And then I use my other hemisphere, speaking of Rush, my other hemisphere that kind of feels things. And when it feels good, it's done. I don't stress out too much about if, this one has a tiny bit more bass than that one, or, if certain things aren't technically exactly where they need to be, if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, then I go back and then I'll fine tune and tweak. But that's kind of where I give my cutoff, where I go, okay, next. So I hope that answers your question. What do we got here? Sentis says, I quote you, reference you all the time in regards to example of noteworthy engineers who use headphones. I'm a strong believer that choice of monitoring is very personal, and I would agree with you wholeheartedly. Um, my journey with headphones has been a long one. I started this out of necessity. A lot of you know, I used to have a fancy analog studio in Atlanta. Matter of fact, I had 4 of them. And we had, custom rooms that were built by, Francis Manzella, who built Sterling Sound. And we had amazing monitors and all the best analog gear. And when I shut down that studio in 2012, I had to go on the road because I said, God, you only live one life. I want to travel. I want to see the world. And I'm just going to bring a laptop and some headphones with me. At that time, I was using in-ears, not headphones. But so I decided to go move to, I think Thailand was the first place I moved to. And it slowly became an evolving journey of different in-ears. And then finally, I met the Audeze guys, I think around 2018. And I think the very first project I did on those was #1 record. So, the gear shouldn't hold you back, ever, 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 ever. So thank you, Santis. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, you were right, Atrocity. Yes, I did talk about it on Sonic Scoop, my friend Justin. Let's see. So he's watching here. Is there a way to check the full episode like recorded? This is from Instagram. Fernando, yes, if you go to my YouTube channel, Loud and Clear with Glenn Schick, you can see all of the past episodes. So all of the other 17 episodes are there. And even though I think the show is getting better every episode, the older shows are there. And I'm going to keep trying to make this better. So, I hope you guys are along for the ride. But if you want to catch some old ones, and there's some good interviews, and there's going to be some better interviews coming up because I'm getting better at it, then go to the YouTube channel and check it out. Subscribe, do all that stuff. Let's see what else. Somebody called me a goat. Thank you. What else, folks? Hey, Spiff Sinatra. Oh, that was from you, that question. Okay. Great producer there. We have a lot of good people online here, so I appreciate you all tuning in. We got any other questions or anything you guys want to talk about? I told you, this is a conversation. You can throw in whatever subjects, anything you feel like. That's the whole point. What's up, James? James joining us, another good engineer. Is the loudness matching in WaveLab good? I would say it's pretty good. I use things like perception for loudness matching when I want to do that, but I would say it's pretty good on the most part. Here we go. Do you prefer stem mastering or a single wave? Okay, so here goes my rant. This is the rant that happens, I think, pretty much every show. A lot of people love stem mastering. I'm not one of them. I think stem mastering is mixing. Not that I can't do it. I was a mixer a long time ago. So if somebody handed me stems, I could mix it. But you know what? I want a mixing credit if I'm doing that and a mastering credit because I'm doing both at that point. And usually they don't want to do that. So unless somebody's handing you something and saying, we're going to give you a mixing credit as well as a mastering credit, and we're going to pay you for both those jobs, I'm not interested in it. I want the mixer to make the mix decision. I'm not the mixer, I'm the mastering guy. So let's see. That's my rant. Okay. I hope you guys can deal. Firehouse. Do you worry about the DSP codecs when mastering? No, I absolutely do not give a shit about DSP codecs. It's, people are going to play your stuff the way they're going to play it. I would not recommend anybody ever master a song to DSP specs like Spotify or YouTube. You will absolutely ruin your song. The main thing is to make it sound good and balanced and not go extremes. Don't make it crazy loud or crazy low. Just be normal. Be normal. Is that asking so much? Be normal. So, yeah, that's what I feel about DSPs. Couldn't give a shit. Let's see. We comment about poo. I don't know if I'm tripping, but my feeling says the new Pooh Shiesty record wasn't mixed very deeply on some tracks. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. The mixer on that, Ari Morris, a friend and a colleague and somebody I respect quite a bit, was handed, things that are like 2 tracks. And we all know where Pooh is residing at the moment. And that was done with some less than stellar source material. So if you're sensing that things weren't that deep, it has nothing to do with the mixing. It's because the source material was probably not the best. So you can only imagine what it sounded like before either Ari or I got my hands on it. Okay, from Sarpo, are there times you don't touch a mix which is perfect? Yes. Okay, next one. Okay, somebody's correcting my technical error here. The reason for the level differences after you thought you leveled it with the sine wave is the levels change with actual music running through the meters versus a sine wave. Duh. Okay, I'll buy that. Let's go back to Instagrams. Let's see. Somebody was asking me if I use acceleration limiters. I don't personally. I don't think any of the software is modeled after acceleration limiters. I'm trying to think. Can anybody think of one? I've never seen anything marketed as that. Have you guys? Have you ever seen anything marketed as an acceleration limiter plugin? We got my friend James here. Boring but important question. What actual metadata fields are you inputting every time you start mastering a single, manually or by some kind of script thing that I'm not aware of? So James is getting into Wavelab from our last conversation over at Abbey Road. Hello, Abbey Road friends. What I do normally, excuse me, is input proper song titles, proper album titles, genre, year. Sometimes I put in the writers, songwriters, or producers. It just depends on what the client wants. sometimes UPC or ISRC codes. It just all depends, and it's always manually. So no scripts, just fingers. Let's see, from Zello. How do you dial back the low end in a mix without over compressing or losing original feel? That's mostly EQ, and it's mostly experience. So I've been doing it a lot of years. Brian asks, what are your thoughts on working with passive EQs versus active EQs? Well, since I don't work with analog anymore, but certainly did, I had both passive and active EQs. Passive EQs are just kind of generally what you would expect. They're not as in your face, and the moves are much more subtle. So, something like a massive passive, certainly can be a powerful tool, but it's not going to go, wow, what's that? It'll just kind of like, yeah, it's a little smoother now. It's much more subtle, and that's kind of the differences I found in them. But every EQ is different. Every curve is different on an EQ, so it all depends. Let's see. Oh, we got some more comments on the YouTubers. Do you use a crosstalk plugin? I can show these comments, and let me take the Wavelab off here again, so you can see my beautiful face. My face, yeah, okay. No, I do not use crosstalk. I do not use room emulation. I am a straight wire guy. I am. You take the wire, you plug it into your DAC and amp, and you listen. Other people feel differently. Your mileage may vary. So, do what you feel is good for you. Somebody said the Schwab is a high frequency. Yeah, high FAL. You're right, Daniel. So high FAL is modeled after the old acceleration limiter. So I do use one, and it's an excellent one. So. All right. Here is from Elliot. Do you use much dynamic EQ or multiband compression? No. Next here. No lie, seeing your interviews of Plugin Alliance and Sconic super inspiring. Not too many creatives in this space are so open to sharing. It's a blessing. Thank you, Atrocity. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your support. I'm trying to be like the guy that pulls the curtain back. When I was starting out, and James, who's watching this, was reminding me of how the mysterious stuff worked. So we came up with this analog process years ago, and we used to make people actually leave the mastering room and come back so they couldn't figure out what the process was. And it's a really stupid process, but we were trying to protect the intellectual rights at the moment. And we used to make them leave the room and then come back, and everybody would go, ooh, ah. And yeah, it sounded better, but part of it was a little bit of a dog and pony show. And so I'm trying to pull back that curtain, let you know this is definitely a skill, and it takes time and work and everything else, but it's not magic. All right. Let's see. Somebody's talking about, I think it was last episode or a couple episodes ago, going back to your mastering budget episodes. Are there monitors you like in the 5-10K range? You have a pair of MX4 Aldezis and fitting out a room. That's a tough one. I would go with something, fine and small. I've heard I don't know prices on everything, so I wouldn't be the best person to give you something in that budget without doing a little more research, because I don't really shop for speakers much anymore. I do have speakers here, They're from the fine folks at Mon Acoustics. They do make something in that price range, but you would need those and a subwoofer. Let me grab it. You could probably get something like these Mon Minis, which are super detailed. And you would need some kind of sub with that. So that might work out in that range. And those sound pretty phenomenal. But, without really shopping around, I couldn't give you the best answer. So, Firehouse, since you aren't in the box, converters and headrooms are not a concern anymore. Converters, certainly not, other than digital to analog converters for my headphones. Those are a concern. I want them to be good. I want them to be excellent. I use a company, Chord Electronics, and they make some of the best stuff. But analog to digital, no. Actually, I think A to D conversion, and I know I'm going to be slapped from some analog fanatics. Analog to digital conversion is a damaging process. And even with the $10,000 whatever's, the fanciest A to D converters, I still think it makes your audio suffer in some ways. So I'd much rather not convert your audio. There, I said it. All right, we've got some good questions today. Thanks, guys. Let's check the Instagrams again. Let's see. Have I ever worked with, this is from Brian in Instagram, have you ever worked with the SPL Phonitor deck? Is there anything you don't like about it? Actually, I have an SPL Phonitor, Brian, and I liked it very much. I don't have the new one. I have the original one. So I think they've made a bunch of changes. It's probably really good. They make some good gear. So probably. All right. Got something again from Christy. Christy, always with the good questions. I've heard that clients like your work because you're able to do on the low end of the track. Are there any special tools you're using to enhance the bottom other than EQ? Just trying to think for a second if I use any kind of special things. No, the main thing I try not to do is let the bottom get killed if there is good bottom there. So you can't really make a sound out of something that's not there. I mean, you can, but it's not the most solid way to do it. And so, no, I just try not to ruin the inherent good signal from the source along the way. And sometimes you don't even realize. I was using that plugin True Iron one day, and I didn't realize it was cutting all the low end of my stuff until way too late. I actually printed a whole bunch of stuff, and not that it does it on every setting, but the setting I had it on was cutting a bunch of low end, and I was hearing stuff that was pleasant a little higher. And then I went, oh my God, what happened to all that lovely low end I had? So you have to be aware of what things do and really sometimes take a step back. All right. Here's one for headphone stuff. How accurate do you find the low end to be in the Audeze LCD5S headphone? So I find it very accurate. And the thing is, those headphones go down to, I believe, 5 hertz. And they can reproduce just about anything. But if you're used to a speaker, obviously no one can hear 5 hertz or 10 hertz or 15 or 20 at that matter. But sometimes you start to feel things. And if you're used to speakers and subwoofers, sometimes you can feel things a little earlier. But when you're listening for stuff, it becomes just a sense of pressure. So things that are like under 30 hertz, you suddenly feel pressure. And you know there's something going on down there. And then I might look at a meter and go, oh, there's something rumbling down below my hearing range. So I think that, they reproduce as well as anything. And speaking of Audeze, I now have a affiliate link, and if you plan on buying a pair of Out Is Ear headphones, please use my affiliate link. It'll keep me motivated to make this show. So there's my little plug. And speaking of them, as someone who uses various pairs of Out Is Ear, do you ever reference another pair, or do you stick with your current best? No, I generally work with one model, which is the 5S, and sometimes I use my 4s, which are at home. Elliot asks, how often do I use saturation? Could be 4 days a week, or it could be 1 day a week. Depends, again, on the session. Tani asks, Glenn, did you use, oh, I can't really read my own stuff. He's asking if I use topping products. I'm sometimes a little irritated because for this money, such a high standard. I think Topping is a Chinese brand, Chi-Fi they call it, and they make some really good products, honestly. You shouldn't be afraid of some of them. And again, on the Mastering Budget show, if you look on there, you'll see me talk about a specific couple different models I thought were pretty darn good. Good job on the questions tonight, guys. Tokyo Dawn OD Linen. OD Lemon. Oh, I think I know that one. That was not one of Fabian's plugins. It's another designer that did that one. And I did check out the demo. I don't think I was amazed by it, but I'm sure it's probably pretty good because they make really nice stuff. Here is, do I check my master with fresh ears the day after? So, Sarpo, there is something that is known as a deadline. And you got to make it count. You got to make it count that day. I don't think most people have the luxury to go back the next day and to recheck things. So I try not to work when I'm totally wiped out. And if I had a really bad night of sleep, I'll tell my office that, hey, I'm not feeling great today. Make my schedule minimal today and put the rest of it on for tomorrow when I get a better night's sleep. So no, I make it count when I do it. All right, we got some more headphone questions. There's Phantom. You've been commenting on all kinds of stuff lately. Hi, Phantom. Do you think the differences in what you're listening for in planar magnetic headphones versus more classical open back cans while mixing or mastering? I'm not sure I quite understand that. Chat, do you understand this question more than I'm trying to make of it? My planar magnetic headphones are open back. The other kind of classic ones maybe you're talking about are dynamic headphones. I don't know. I'm not really sure your question. So you can hit up comments later and I can try to figure it out for you. Yeah, Santos is in with you here. Let's check our guys over the Instagrams. Hi, Instagrams. How you doing, Instagrams? Desert Park over at Instagram says, say you want to control bottom, will you reach for a low-end shelf first, a bell to cut it, or a high-pass filter first? The question goes for controlling the top end as well. It doesn't work with like autopilot. So different material will react differently with different curves. So there is no reach for automatically. I might try something and I might try something else. You know, you'd be surprised at some things that you think would work with the bell that don't work, or things that work with the shelf that do work. You know, you got to get the, you know, your time in really trying things. So don't be afraid to do a bunch of different things. What else we got here? Anybody else? else? Anybody else? Okay, I think Phantom was trying to clear up. Yes, they're both up and back. I just ran out of letter. Still don't know what you're asking. Sorry, Phantom. Oh, you're asking dynamic versus planar. Okay. Honestly, I haven't heard a dynamic headphone that made me go ooh ah ooh. I've heard some pretty decent ones, but I kind of fell in love when I heard my. Actually, the first ones were the Out of Z4s. So, let's see. Will you do mastering reviews in the future? Elliot, what do you mean by mastering reviews? Do you mean review my masters? Review other people's masters? Review like your masters? I'm not a judge. It's not America's Got Talent. So probably not like that. But I did want to start doing review others. Thanks for clarifying, Elliot. So probably not. I don't want to really like, roast people or, I try to give advice where I can. And, what I want you guys is to take this knowledge and to bring it back to your setup. I'm not here to give like lessons. So probably not. America's Got Clippers. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Binary feedback. What is America's Got Clippers? Are you talking about my lovely haircut? Okay. I used to have hair. There were days back then. I had long hair. Yes, I was a rocker. Not anymore. All right. I think we probably got most of the questions in for tonight. And we did pretty good. Oh, we got a couple more, like getting towards the end. I'm not going to let you out here. So, okay. I think reviewing masters would be rather tricky. Yep. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Elliot. Yeah, you don't know where the source material came from. You don't know what the mixer did. Sometimes it's hard to hear what was in the master as opposed to what was in the source or track or mix. So yeah, no, I'm probably not going to review anybody's masters. Here's a little quick question. Magic Ears. That's a good name. I like that. Do you use any EQ on your 5Ss? No, I do not. No. Let's look at the Instagrammers if there's anybody left there. You guys have been great. This is really kind of turning out to be the format I'm really loving. So please, subscribe, like things, do that kind of stuff. I have pitiful ratings right now, and we have really low production values, but I'd like to keep doing this. So please support it. Where else can you get an industry pro, had a #1 record this week, and just ask them questions? Thank you, Binary. I appreciate that. Yeah, Elliot, I just don't think he's saying it'd be cool if you provide the mix as well. I don't want to get judging people. That's not my gig. But thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. I'm going to try to keep making this better. I'm going to bring some guests in every once in a while here, so you hear more than just me ranting. And I'm really enjoying this. So you guys keep supporting it, and I'll see you next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. EST, or nighttime for me here. It's already nighttime here. Yeah, Magic Ears is a great mastering name. I agree. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.